Okay, guys, so today we're working on the mounted armbar. Okay, so we're trying to figure out, get some more options to finish from the mounted position. Okay, it's a really dominant position. All right, so when we get there, we want to have options. Okay, so far we've really only maintained the mount, worked on our mount retention. We took the back from there. If they turned and turned their back to us, we sunk in the rear naked choke. Okay, now let's have another option for if they keep their back on the mat and they're trying to keep pushing us off, has to have an option from the mount. Okay, so we're just going to work on the mounted armbar. So if I have John right here, this way. Okay, so we just worked on maintaining the mount position. Okay, using our hands as base, right? If he turns to his side, we modified our mount, right? This is the position that we had where we started to take the back. Okay. But let's say he stays on his back and he's like just continuing to push on my chest, okay? What was the technique that we did when somebody pushes on our chest and pushes up high? What was the technique to retain the mount?
Swim.
Yeah, high swim, right? We bring our shoulders through and then we break that frame that he has, okay? But he's gonna continue to try to do it. So I can sit there and continue to swim, do my high swim and keep the mount for sure. But I wanna attack. I wanna put this guy in a position where he doesn't want to fight anymore. So we're gonna do the mounted armbar. Okay. So we're gonna do it into a couple slices. This is gonna be the first half. We're just gonna understand how to get to the armbar. Finishing it is gonna be next. We're gonna just understand how to get to it. So let's understand. Let's say John pushes my chest. Okay. Just as the mount retention drill we did, we want to make ourselves as heavy as we can. Okay. We don't want to give him an easy push. So we want to bear our weight on his arms. Okay. That's making him expend more energy than me. Okay, now I want to decide which arm I'm going to attack. I'm going to attack John's right arm in this case. So the same arm, corresponding arm, is going to come over the top and it's going to pin onto his chest. Okay, I usually have my fingers pointing away, which will help when we start to rotate around the arm. So come around, pin the chest. Other arm's going to come underneath and just reinforce that pin. Okay, now I'm putting all my weight down on his chest. Okay, that's where the kangaroo hop comes into play. I need to bear all my weight onto his chest, which make my hips and my feet nice and light. Okay, once I make my hips nice and light, I'm going to use them to come up to a nice high mount. So I want to slide up as high as I possibly can. Okay, this is going to get broken up into small frames. Eventually it'll become one movement. Okay, but we'll break it down. So I still maintain the weight on his chest. I'm going to step up with the opposite foot. Okay, nice and close to his armpit. I want to open up the knee, which is going to help facilitate my rotation. You see how it's rotating right here? If I keep my knee pointing inward, it's going to be hard to rotate my hip. Okay, so once I'm here, now I'm going to bring this back leg, putting all my weight on his chest and the leg that came up, right? So now we're transferring our weight to my right leg in this case, and my arms, which makes my left leg super light. I can swing my leg around and sit right down. Okay, I don't want any space between my hips and his like tricep shoulder area. I want it to be nice and tight. Pulling my heels in, pinching my knees together, and I'm just going to hug the arm right now. Just going to hug his elbow right into my stomach and sternum area. I'm just going to hug, okay? All right? Pulling my heels in, pinching my knees together, and now I'm nice and stationary right here, okay? It's real simple. So I'm in a mount. He starts to push. Arm over the attacking arm. Other one comes under. I'm going to slide to high mount. Step up with the opposite foot. Watch see how the rotation starts? Rotation. I can do this in a few steps. I can come up and go. I can take a few steps before I sit down and hug the arm. Or as my dexterity and my flexibility increases, I can kind of swing it around nicely. Okay, but the idea is I want to be able to sit without falling backwards, okay? I want to control my own descent. Okay, if I get to here and I can't control myself, and now I'm here, right, see all the space between my arm and my chest? I don't want that. I want to keep his elbow glued to my stomach. All right, so when I sit down, and I'm here, now I can control the descent and I can control the attack from here, okay? Space is not what I want in this position. I want to close off all the space possible. So we're just getting into the armbar. Over, under, slide up, step up nice and tight, start the rotation, sit, and then hug. Okay, nice and tight. All right, let's give it a shot. Thank you, Sean. Okay, so now let's talk about the finish of the armbar. Okay. When you get to the armbar, usually the guy's gonna initially like grab his hands together to prevent his arm getting straightened, which is okay. We can talk about how to break that grip another time. Okay, right now I just want to understand how to get into the armbar, and then eventually once I want to extend the arm and straighten it, what do I need to focus on to maintain that position and get the correct hyperextension of the elbow. Okay, so I'm here, all right, you push the chest, I come here, under, slide to high mount, foot comes up, I start to rotate, and I sit, okay, and I'm here. Okay, let's say he doesn't grab his hands. I'm going to start to just apply the arm lock, okay? So what I want to make sure that I do is have control of 2 points, okay? Again, that's the physics of a lever and fulcrum, okay? I need 2 strong parts. In the middle becomes the breaking point, okay? So the 2 parts that are strong and stationary are going to be his shoulders, and the next one's going to be his wrist, and the elbow is the breaking point, okay? So I need to secure those 2 positions, those 2 points. So my legs have already been established, right? I'm curling my heels in, I'm pinching my knees together. That's keeping his shoulders compact and compressed, okay? The next thing is the wrist, okay? If he's able to turn his wrist, it gives his elbow sometimes the correct bend that he needs to avoid the hyperextension, okay? So after I've established a good leg position right here, I want to double up on the wrist, okay? This is preventing him from turning his wrist at all. I want to make sure that his thumb points to the ceiling during this whole entire movement. Okay, that's going to assure me that the elbow is in the right place for my hyperextension to break it. Okay, thumb to the ceiling, force goes in the opposite or the same direction. Right, so if his thumb is pointing to the ceiling, my hips are going to go in that same direction. Okay, so I'm here, right? Control the legs. Okay, I'm going to double up on the wrist. Baseball grip with the thumbs. Okay, elbows come together. Now as I fall back, all right. Initially, I want to keep his wrist pinned to my chest, okay? When I get the finish, my back shouldn't even hit the ground, okay? If I do everything correctly, everything stays nice, boom. My upper back hasn't hit the ground yet, and I've started to hyperextend the elbow, okay? But for now, because I want us to check our base here, we're going to fall back and we're going to create some space between his wrist and my chest, okay? What it's going to do is allow him a little time so that his elbow doesn't feel like it's going to get broken off. Now John's going to just check my base. He's going to try to sit up. He's going to try to push his legs off and my legs off of his head. And I just want to feel like I'm secure right here. Try to turn your wrist, right? I want to just secure. Try to pull your elbow out, right? I want to feel like I have control right here. Okay, if I don't have control, the finish doesn't really matter. Okay? You need control first. They talk about position over submission. It's the same idea. The whole time I got to figure out my positioning, and then the submission will come afterward. Or if I just focus on the arm bar, and he pushes it out. Oh, now I'm on top, or now he's on top, and now I lost everything, including top position. So instead, I'm going to hang out here, right, and make sure that I maintain top position. Now I start to go for the wrist. He's still bucking and moving. He's still bucking and moving, right? Okay, I got it. Now I'm going to pull the wrist down. Same thing with my feet. So I have opposite forces. Down with the wrist, down with the feet, and up with the hips. And I get that, and then I get the arm lock, okay? You don't need too much. The elbow doesn't go the other way very well. Like the shoulder has a lot more range of motion to it. All right, but the elbow, as soon as it's straightened out, you don't need much extra hip flexion to get the break, okay? So we're here, right? We initially got here. Wrist control, fall back, base check, John. Good, rotate the wrist, try to pull it out, right? Good, okay, a few seconds, and now I go. So all together, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, base check, and then finish. Okay, you can break it up into 7, 8 different little movements within it. Okay, but as it becomes smooth and fluid, right, it becomes one movement. Okay, but that just takes time. Okay, so we break it down into each segment, and then slowly you can combine the first 2 segments, and then combine the first 3, and then the first 4, right? And then it turns into one nice smooth movement. Okay, but things need to be broken down. Okay? Questions? Yes.
The way you're immobilizing his wrist, is that anything special?
No, just baseball grip. You can do a couple different ways. You can do like a rear naked choke grip. Okay? You can just kind of bear hug it. But the problem with the bear hug is he can still rotate his wrists. Okay, you need an immense amount of control with the legs to do it this way. Okay, you can still do it for sure, but this is like perfect. Exactly, right? If I'm here like this, right, we've done this before, we've done the hitchhiker escape, Okay, so as I fall back, if he can turn his thumb down, he can start to roll the other way. He's going to start to rotate. No, thumb down was correct. Now rotate your body the other way. Yes, he can start to roll his body out. Okay, so what he's doing here, just get the camera so the camera can see. All right, so what's happening is if I don't control John's thumb, he's able to rotate his thumb downward. Now if he adds that same type of hip flexion this way, my arm bends. Right? So that's the hitchhiker escape, okay? It's an advanced escape from the armbar, but that's if the guy doesn't really do a good job of keeping that thumb up. From here, thumb up, I can't bend my wrist that way, or my elbow. If I can go thumb down, it creates just enough bend where I can start to wind myself out of the submission, okay? It's a high-level escape, but the fundamental principles of why you can escape that way is because I'm not holding on to that wrist. I'm not controlling that wrist position, okay? So let's give it a shot. Okay, so now we want to attack that same armbar, but the guy's not giving us that same kind of reaction. He's not creating that space between his elbow and the ribs. Okay, that space right there, that's danger for the bottom guy. Okay, he wants to try to keep that space controlled, right? This is where you start getting attack chokes, arm locks, etc. Okay, so the bottom guy, the defensive man, is always trying to maintain that space. Okay, so I'm going to try to create that space myself. I can always force that opportunity if I want to, okay? So let's talk about how to get into the armbar when he's keeping himself kind of shelled up, okay? Our first attack was from this position was our V-lock or Americana. When they're shelled up, we pin the wrist to the arm or to the floor, we drop the elbow, we pack it, right? We have that one there. All right, but we always want another option, okay? Maybe I just hit him with that Americana the first time, and now he's kind of smart to it, so it's a little bit harder, okay? So right from here, what I want to do is I want to work to get his elbows up, okay? Creating that space right there that I can fill. So if he's got his elbows down, what I want to try to do is I want to sneak underneath, in between my rib and his elbow. I want to sneak my bicep in there, all right? I can do one or I can do both. From here, I want to walk my hands outward, attacking the elbow, less than the armpit. All right, I want to walk my hands up. Now I got him in this kind of like swimming, like diving position, right? So now I've exposed that space. Okay, anytime I expose the space that I need, I want to fill it in with something. Okay, so I'm going to do it with my hips. So my hips come up. Same thing, I'm in a nice high mount, just like we were attacking. But his arms aren't extended, right? His arms are here, right? So now I can be a little bit more methodical with my attack. Okay, what I want to start doing is I want to start to create that same angle and go to an S-mount position. So just as we did before, I want to start to rotate my body around. Okay? My knees on the floor this time. Look at that, opposite foot came up. Just the same as we did last time, okay? Except last time we did this foot first, and then we came around with that leg. Okay? With the S mount, it's going to be a little opposite. So I'm going to slide around with the knee of the side I want to attack first, and then this leg comes around and it cuts in. Okay, this is the S mount position. So I still have all my weight pinning on his chest. Okay, I got one foot going that way, the other foot's going in the opposite direction. So it's like an S or a Z, whatever you want to call it. Okay, this is the position right here. I want to have more of my weight on this top leg, bearing into his chest. Because from here, remember how we had our hands putting on the chest? I'm going to use my hands to start to manipulate the arms how I want. So instead, I want to focus on putting all my weight here. Okay? So now I'm in this position right here. It's very strong. Okay? It's very hard for John to move. I'm so far away from his hips that his bridging power doesn't really affect me anymore. Okay? So that's why I can kind of hang out in this position. It's a very good cooking position where I can make him burn some energy. Okay? And here's a good opportunity to get compliance. You know what I mean? If it's a self-defense scenario and you're in this S-mount position, you can tell the guy, like, hey, man, calm down, relax. Like, relax. All right? So you can always use these opportunities of these pinning positions to gain some kind of compliance. Okay? You might not have to do anything from here. Okay? But let's say we have some options to finish. Okay? I want to look at his hands. Right? I want to attack this arm with the arm bar. Right? But he's got his left arm is covering it. Right? I can try to work and peel these across and get to the arm bar for sure, but why? Right? Let's see, what kind of attacks can I have right here? Right? I keep everything nice and tight right here. I have a very simple V-lock right from here. Right? So imagine his arm was on the ground. I did that V-lock just a second ago. It's in the same more or less position. Okay? Now the ground is my foot. Right? That's preventing his shoulder from having mobility. So now I go here. Look, same side wrist. I come under the elbow. Make sure I'm coming under the elbow. And now I come here. It's the same type of position. I pack it the same way. I start to bring the elbow down. And now I'm going to use my body to start to turn that wrist. Okay? Forcing the shoulder outward. Okay? Because this arm isn't down like this, all right? Now it's the same idea, except my foot is taking the place of the ground and preventing his shoulder from having mobility. All right? If I don't have that shoulder there and I try to do it, he can move. See? But I don't want to give him the ability to move, so I stuff it right there. Now his shoulders are stuck. He can't move to relieve pressure. Okay? So that's a really simple attack from there. It's the Americana from the S mount. Okay? So that's if that arm's on top. The far arm is on top. Okay? If the near arm's on top, awesome. We got our arm bar. All right? Nothing is stopping this arm from being attacked. I can do it a few different ways. What I like to usually do is I like to just come and scoop underneath, and I like to pin it right here. Now from here, I can do it a couple different ways. Okay? I actually prefer this way, because I'm going to lean heavy on this foot, or this leg. I'm going to lean heavy on that leg and start to bring this arm across, bring this leg across, and put my shin right on his face. Okay? Real strong position. I'm still pinching my knees, everything like that. They call this the walk-away arm bar. Okay? Because from here, all I'm going to do is shoot my hips forward. I'm going to relax on John, but this is the idea. If I keep this arm pinned, I'm going to bring my hips forward, breaking that arm, and then I can just step, and I can walk away. So they call it like the walk-away arm bar. Okay? But you can see how much hip pressure is right there. If I keep his arm pinned to my chest and I drive my hips through, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of braking force right there. Okay? So I can do that. I can go here. I can put the shin on the face and I can break it here. All right? Or I can lean, step over the head, and then finish it the same traditional way. Okay? So I got like 2 options, or really 3 actually. We'll do another one right here. Yeah. So I got here. Okay? Maybe I go for the V-lock and he starts to straighten his arm. Right? Now from here I go telephone. Listen to the telephone, right? That's called like the razor lock or the inverted arm bar or telephone arm bar. Right from here, I'm just going to find his elbow. I'm going to rotate it, and now I'm going to push his elbow into my stomach. Okay? Because again, look at his thumb. His thumb is pointing this way. So now I create that same force on the elbow going in. So it's right here. This pinch is this control, right? So I need to control the wrist. I got the shoulder control. Wrist control is in the ear, right? And I'm right here, and I'm just pulling it in. That's it. Okay, so I got 3 nice submissions, all from this one super good control position, the S mount. Okay? The whole time his back is on the ground because I'm putting all my weight here, right? Making him very uncomfortable. Okay? So he's staying low this time. Yeah, he's staying low this time. Okay? So I come underneath. I walk with my hands. I expose that. Come up, rotate, cut the foot in, and now I'm here. I kind of wait. I see. Okay. Armbar arm is hidden, so I can attack the V-lock. Bang. If he straightens his arm, I can attack the razor lock or the telephone arm bar. If his other arm was hidden right here, oh, nice, easy peasy. Boom, break, or break. All right, let's give it a shot. The S mount. Let's talk about how we can break the grip. Okay, maybe we sit into the arm bar and the guy's got his hands together. All right, which is going to happen most of the time. Nobody's going to just kind of extend their arm. If they do, great. We just sit right back to the arm bar and we finish it. Okay, so however we get there, it doesn't matter. Right? Boom, we're here. Right? He's got his hands together, so I can't just pull on the wrist. Okay, it's tough. You can do it for sure. All right, but what I like to do is I'll be here, right, and I'm holding on. This leg right here that's controlling the head, that's going to be my priority. So I want to keep that foot there. Okay, I want to use the leg that's controlling the body. Okay, and I'm going to pull my knee back and I want to fit it right into his elbow joint. Okay, so now I use the power of my leg and the power of my hips to break the grip. Once I feel that grip break, I'm going to the wrist control. Everything stays the same. He base checks. Pinch, pinch, pinch. And then I finish. Okay? So it's a really simple way just to break a grip. Okay, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. That's usually the one that I show first.
That's my favorite.
Okay. The reason that I use my right leg instead of my left is because if I use my left leg, now it takes all the way off of his head, and he's more likely to start to sit up and start to defend the armbar. Okay, so I want to keep this leg on the floor, and I want to keep it down. Okay, this leg comes in, and I start to find anything I can get. Okay, if I can't get exactly in the elbow, I get into the bicep or the armpit area. It's just something that's going to create some kind of tension to be able to break it. And then from here, right, put the knee in the foot, and I'm going to pull. Right? It can be a slow, static pull. It doesn't have to, or excuse me, like a slow, long pull. It doesn't have to be a quick boom. I can just put my foot on his elbow, and I can just lean. Right? I'm just leaning. I'm not really putting that much effort into it. Every second it goes, his grip is getting looser and looser. He's losing strength in it. So it doesn't have to be something that I have to go and rip. I just have to put my foot there and just lean back. Boom. Second I feel it start to break, I go for the wrist. He checks my base, and then I get the finish from there. Okay? So if you get the armbar from the mount, normally they're going to grab their hands together. So now everybody has one grip break that could potentially get the finish. Okay, let's play around with it. Let's get into a nice smooth armbar. Okay, let's try to smooth it out a little bit from the bench press. So bench press, try to smooth out that armbar. Person grab their hands together, try that grip break, fall back, base check, and then finish. Okay?